whenever you're going to make any claim about Allah, make sure you have his own testimony. Make sure you have scriptural evidence. Make sure you have direct revelation from him to back up your claim. Because if you make claims about him without certainty, without certain knowledge, based on hearsay or anecdotal evidence or speculations or superstitions or what you've inherited and from your forefathers, all of these things will lead you to the path of hell. They will lead you to deviation in this world and eternal damnation in the hereafter. The Quran is very clear on that. So, iftira in the language of the Quran refers to the act of making false claims about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and attributing statements or actions to Allah for which he has revealed no sultan or no authority, no supporting evidence. In this lecture, we want to delve deep a little bit into the concept of iftira as elucidated in numerous verses of the Quran itself. This discussion is crucial and vitally critical because iftira, as I mentioned in the previous lecture, it's the oxygen of ghuluw and shirk. It's oxygen for the flame of shirk and ghuluw. If you kill iftira or restrict it or choke its supply, ghuluw and shirk will die. It will cease to exist due to suffocation. Ghuluw and shirk cannot exist without iftira. That's why no discussion and no lecture on ghuluw or shirk is complete without a discussion of iftira. And it really saddens me to see that in our Muslim communities, there is little or no awareness about iftira. And what can I say about lay people when the hal of our scholars sometimes is that I once, a few years back, I had a dialogue which turned into a debate with a scholar, a traditional scholar from Qum, who had spent 18 years studying in the Hawza Ilmiya of Qum. And in the course of our discussions with him, it suddenly, the matter of iftira came up because some of the claims that he was making were dangerously in the neighborhood of iftira. So I raised the issue of iftira, and he was not even familiar with the terminology. He was like, what is this? What do you mean iftira? What is that? And I was like, iftira, the iftira that the Quran talks about. And he was like, which iftira does the Quran talk about? I'm not familiar with this terminology. Iftira, like, what is that? And I was shocked. 18 years in the Hawza Ilmiya of Qum, and he's not familiar with the concept of iftira. And so if this is the hal of the students and the scholars of knowledge, then what to say of our lay people? I mean, ask yourself, how many lectures have you personally most of you have been attending majalis and religious lectures all your life. Have you ever heard a lecture on iftira? Even though this is such a deadly and lethal crime that the Quran talks about, in 9 places Allah just repeats this statement. Yani, for Allah to have said, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا, for Allah to say it once would be enough. For Allah to say that what crime, what act of zulm can be greater, and who can be a greater zalim than a person who does iftira, who attributes a false claim to Allah. Okay, 9 times Allah repeats this sentence throughout the Quran in different chapters and different surahs. So a statement, a concept that Allah repeatedly labels as the greatest of all zulm. How come we don't have enough lectures on it? How come we don't have a single lecture on it? How come sometimes even those who have studied for years in our seminaries are not even familiar with the etymology and the basic semantic and linguistic meaning of this term, iftira?